Counter-Strike 2 got a small but still big update today. And no, it's not the vertigo swap yet. I know I just made a short talking about that. But it does have a major effect on a lot of players. This is the update right here called Sidestepping Skill for August 19th, 2024. If you click read more here, it gives you all this text that if you want, you guys can pause and go read. But basically what it's saying is some hardware features recently have blurred the lines between manual input and automation in the game. So this update's supposed to draw a line to kind of make it clear what's acceptable or what isn't. Taking a look at the actual update notes though, this is where it gets really interesting. First off, certain types of movement and shooting input automation such as hardware-assisted counter-strafing will now be detected on Valve official servers, resulting in a kick from the match. This alone is a very big deal because basically for any keyboards like the Razer Huntsman V3 Pro that have a built-in software feature like SnapTap where it assists with your strafing, you're not going to be able to use them anymore. You have to disable that before you play on official servers. I'll talk about it all more here in a second, but following that, input binds that include more than one of the following commands will now be ignored by default, and you can see the commands right here. So sprint, reload, attack, attack 2, etc. Support can be enabled using a cheat protected command, but basically what this means is any binds that have 2 or more actions in them will not work. Like, you just can't use them. Honestly, another major and very controversial change, so I'll talk about that here more in a second too. But for the last two, jump throw confirmation grunt sound can now be heard by other players. Not that big of a deal, but I will say I was playing. It's very loud in game. And lastly, initial testing of VACnet 3.0 has begun on limited set of matches. This is also really exciting considering we might be seeing VACnet work even better. And it is in the game somewhat right now. Like, I had a match that was recently canceled even though I don't have a clip of it, unfortunately. It'll definitely be interesting though to see if more games get canceled by VACnet or not. There's some more stuff here I want to talk about and cover with this update, but before I do, I gotta pay for food and rent, so let me give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is hands down one of the best bot trading sites you can use with Counter-Strike skins. Say you want to upgrade some of your current skins to get something better, this would be the perfect site to do that with. You can also straight up buy skins too, and with their 35% deposit bonus plus my code, it gives anyone quite a nice balance to work with. There's even free giveaways you can enter and rewards for completing simple tasks on the site. Get started with a free $5 using my link in the description below. Alright, I know, I'm sorry, those get annoying, but I gotta pay for food and rent somehow. Anyways though, I want to talk more about that first bullet point of the update first. The fact that hardware-assisted counter-strafing will not be allowed on official servers. What this means is people with like the Razer Huntsman V3 Pro, for example, that have that SnapTap feature built in, while you can still use the keyboard, you do have to disable that feature before playing on any official servers. Otherwise, it's just gonna boot you right off, exactly like in this video example Rick WTF posted on Twitter. And it does seem to be working pretty well. Now, I have to say with this, there is some worry about even if you don't have a feature like SnapTap built into your keyboard, you know, if you play a certain way pressing A and D, I don't know, will it accidentally trigger this and kick you from the server? Me and a couple of my homies actually had that same question when this update released, and we did hop into an official deathmatch server to see if we could get anything to kick us possibly, but no matter how many different ways we were spamming A and D or trying to replicate that SnapTap look, we weren't able to get ourselves kicked, so it seems like this is gonna work pretty well. But that was also just a short and simple test, so let me know in the comments down below if you guys have had any accidental kicks from this yet. I'm very curious to see if that's gonna happen to a lot of people or not. It is worth mentioning too that if you're like this guy where you just bought a Huntsman V3 Pro or something with SnapTap that's now not gonna work in Counter-Strike for Counter-Strike, you might want to return it. Like, the keyboard will still work normally and all, you just can't use that feature. I know I myself was gonna buy one of these specifically just for that, so I'm kind of glad I didn't. Now, because you can think of like SnapTap as a literal bind for automating features in game, that's why Valve also decided to draw this clear line in today's update on what is and what isn't acceptable. And it's exactly why any binds that include one or more of these commands are now not going to be allowed. Even specific jump throw binds. Like, I think the only way you're going to be able to do that is specifically setting it up through the in-game control settings. Like I was saying in the intro, this is definitely going to be the most controversial part of this update though, because Valve is basically removing something that's been in the game for a pretty long time. Like, professionals like Elige are even tweeting about this, saying removing SnapTap, sure, and that functionality, whatever, but removing a QOL that you've had in the game when CS2 was in beta is so lame. You guys said it yourself, you added the functionality in the game intentionally. Add a bind. In less than 12 hours, this post got 167,000 views and 3.3 thousand likes, so maybe with some luck, Valve will see some of this feedback and maybe change that back to the way it was. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with this, that's for sure. Besides those two things, of course, we can't forget to talk about the initial testing of VACnet 3.0, leading me to think that what we currently have in game right now, I guess, would be VACnet 2.0? I don't know. I got a game the other day where VACnet actually did cancel the game, and go figure, my GeForce Experience software wasn't working, so I couldn't save the clip, but it seems to slowly be starting to work. And if you don't know, VACnet is basically supposed to be the new version of VAC that's a lot more AI based, but Valve's just taking a really long time to develop it and get it out. And a lot of that just has to do with data gathering that's that's why the current reporting system is the way it is. But knowing that this VACnet 3.0 is in-game and is supposedly being tested on a limited set of matches, I don't really know what that means. I'm curious to see if people are gonna actually start seeing games get canceled by VACnet more commonly. Definitely let me know down in the comments too if you guys do have this happen to you. But even though it's taking a really long time, I'm glad to see Counter-Strike is finally getting these updates. There are improvements that the game needs to see, even though it's taking a really long time. But all this means is one day the game will finally be just as good as CSGO, and maybe we'll finally see some new content like an Operation or something. Anyways, with all that said, if you guys did make it this far in the video, definitely make sure you guys smash that like button and of course subscribe if you're new. And yeah, now whatever video is showing on your screen, the YouTube algorithm thinks you might like. So do me a favor and go check it out.